Feeling inspired by hosts Ron and Tyler to work on your health? The MovieBuffs podcast is brought to you by Time to Train Fitness, your home for on-demand workouts for every level of fitness. Exercise with amazing certified instructors that want you to push through any barriers. At Time to Train Fitness, you'll find quality workouts across 6 class formats, including indoor cycling, HIIT, bar, yoga, strength training, and dance cardio. Stream brand new classes releasing every week in our 450 plus on-demand workout library. Use the link in the description to view all of the membership options and to start a free 5-day trial. Get ready to press play on your next workout.
If you're anything like me, you absolutely hate making lunch. I mean, there's nothing worse on a busy day than being starving as hell and having to break out the pots and pans or, God forbid, drive through Burger King. That's why I use Icon Meals. They deliver straight to my door, healthy, macro-friendly, easy to track, easy to microwave meals that I can just throw in the microwave and go. They take 2 to 3 minutes. They are tasty and healthy, and there's a great variety. If you want to see what makes Icon Meals so convenient, follow the link in our description and use code SAVETIME at checkout for free shipping on any order over $130. Again, that's offer code SAVETIME at checkout for free shipping on anything over $130. Check out Icon Meals and stay buff with us. All right, time for the show. Hello, everybody. This is the start of a new beginning, the start of a new year, and the start of our first ever episode in the series BackDay. It's called BackDay for 2 main reasons. One, it's a throwback. This movie I'm going to talk about today and the movies we're going to talk about in this series aren't necessarily pertinent to any upcoming releases or any IP coming out, and they don't have to have come out recently. The other reason is because on BackDay, as any of us fitness buffs know, any movie buffs know, on BackDay you don't need a spot. And as you might notice, I am solo dolo, baby. So it's just me here, no spot, no LT Gray. And I'm going to talk to you today about a movie that to me is an excellent representation of new beginnings to mark the start of the year, and a movie that means a lot to me personally, and that is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So today's episode, I'm going to first give a little rundown about the synopsis, some behind the scenes stuff about this movie, kind of a quasi review, and then I'm going to let you know why it means so much to me. And finally, we're going to leave with a bit of our classic movie buffs takeaway for the week. So not too much more preface here. Let's get right into it. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind was a 2004 film starring Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Elijah Wood, Mark Ruffalo, Kirsten Dunst, and Tom Wilkins, and it was directed by Michel Gondry, who you might know he also directed The Science of Sleep, Be Kind, Rewind, and Green Hornet. This all-star cast is put to stellar use, and Kate Winslet was even nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for the film. I personally think Jim Carrey was robbed of at least a nomination because I can tell you what, he acted his ass off in this movie. The film did win Best Original Screenplay at the 77th Academy Awards in 2005. The film follows the doomed relationship of Joel and Clementine, played by Carrey and Winslet. Now, unlike most romantic movies, this film takes a very, very unique science fiction-based look at how relationships can fall apart and how our relationships to one another kind of create who we are. We also take a very interesting look at how memories exist in our mind, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So the movie opens with Joel playing hooky from work and catching a train up to Montauk for an impromptu beach day on Valentine's Day. On the train, he meets a manic pixie type dream girl in Clementine, and they share what appears to be just kind of a picture-perfect, romantic, wonderful day together at the beach. And then before we really find out where this goes, we cut to an entirely different time. And we see a disheveled and very broken down Joel kind of going around talking to his friends and trying to find out what happened to Clementine. So eventually, again, I'm going to give out some spoilers here because it is an 18-year-old movie, but I suggest go check it out. Last I checked, it's available on Amazon for $4.95. So do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and go check it out. Anyway, while he's out talking to his friends, he stumbles upon a piece of paper that he thinks couldn't possibly be true, but it's revealed that Clementine actually underwent a experimental procedure at this place called Lacuna to have all of her memories of Joel erased from her mind. Joel decides to investigate, and this now is an unprecedented thing because the company kind of prides themselves on removing the person from your memories and then wiping out all existence of them ever happening. So as a favor, they offer to do the procedure to him as well. And kind of out of spite and self-pity, he decides to do it. He figures if she's erased me, I'm going to do the same. So here is where the movie actually really kicks off. As Joel sits down to have this procedure done, we actually follow into his mind. And Michel Gondry does a really, really interesting and beautiful method of showing his memories as they relate to the current timeline and how he feels about them. So we kind of follow through his mind, and there's these insane, you got to watch the behind the scenes, they're all over YouTube, but he does these insane, like almost like Rube Goldberg style setups to make these memories be erased in real time in camera. So if you watch this movie, you might be shocked to know that all those erasure effects all are, for the most part, happening in camera. And they found out interesting ways to have Jim Carrey show up 3 different spots in one shot and have people leave through doors that no longer exist. And it's really kind of a mind, but it's wonderful. So now we see the team of Lacuna come to Joel's house. He goes to sleep for the night, and the team consisting of Kirsten Dunst, Elijah Wood, and Mark Ruffalo go to work erasing his memories. So the memories are erased in reverse chronological order. So as they go along, again, we see them kind of disappear in front of Joel's very eyes. And as it's going along, at first, he's kind of going along with it, right? We only see the bad parts of their memories. We see them fighting. We see why they broke up. We see the bad things they've done to each other. But a few minutes in, we start to get to the memories that are sweet. And Joel begins to have these really deep regrets. And in his mind, a subliminal manifestation of Clementine actually helps to guide him through his own memories to try to preserve some semblance of the relationship that they had. And this is where the movie really starts to get even trippier, but I find it gets even more beautiful because he's fighting to preserve the memories that made up this life that they had together. Even if it didn't end well, he wants to hold on to it. And it's all even more bittersweet because as we go further into the movie, the memories that are being erased become closer and closer to the beginning of their relationship. So again, 18-year-old movie, but at the end of the night, they are able to get rid of all of his memories of Clementine. And it's, again, even more painful because the last memories we see are the random beach day with his friends where they met each other. And it's kind of the start of what they both thought was going to be this picture perfect relationship. So they sit there on the beach as basically the world collapses around them, and he wakes up to find his life devoid of Clementine, and he doesn't remember her ever existing. And it's only at this point that we realized that opening segment was the morning after his erasure. So it kind of gives you hope that even after she was erased from his memories, kind of serendipitously, they both meet on a train to Montauk, which is where they met the first time with his friends on a beach day. Unfortunately, at the end of this second meeting, they both, through circumstances I won't really go into, they both end up finding out that they had each other erased. So Clementine plays the tapes that Joel had recorded for Lacuna, basically giving all the reasons why he wants her removed. So he's essentially listing all of her worst traits, everything he doesn't like about her. They sit there, they have this big fight, and they cry. And it leads to this beautiful moment at the end of the movie where I've never heard the word okay be more powerful than in this moment. They stand out in the hallway and she goes to take off and he begs for her to stay. And she goes, well, why would we stay? Like, what do you want me to do there? We know it's going to end. And he just says, okay. And they end up giving another try. And the movie ends with this bittersweet loop of them running down the snowy Montauk Beach over and over, kind of suggesting that maybe this relationship between these two people is a little too mercurial and they end up erasing and falling in love over and over again. But it also kind of gives you hope that sometimes it's worth a shot. Even if it's painful, sometimes it's worth a shot to give, something that's big and something that matters a try. So that's the basic rundown of the movie. I do suggest you go check it out. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. Now I want to talk about why this movie has meant so much to me. Well, one, I have this theory that, for all of us, if you think back to whatever your favorite music is, your favorite movie, it usually happened around puberty, right? Because of who we are, we're developing to adults. We're trying to find our own taste. Our hormones and our mental state is more pliable than it's been since birth. So when you find something that means a lot to you, it tends to stick, and it tends to stick in deep. As I mentioned, this movie came out in 2004. Turns out to be right around the time I was 13 years old. So when I first saw this, it was actually, I want to say 4:00 in the morning on HBO in December or January of 2004 or 2005. So I was about 13 years old. I was a teenager going through all those things I just talked about with a hint of insomnia. So you wake up, you're having this weird transitionary time in your life, and you see this beautiful movie about these relationships that you could only imagine having, acted so perfectly and directed in a way that's never been done before and really never been done afterwards in as much detail as Michel Gondry went into. So this really hit with me and it just stuck. Another thing that kind of made it stick so much for me is, even as a child, I've always been an enormous Jim Carrey fan. I used to do Ace Ventura impressions since I was a baby. And seeing him turn dramatic in Truman Show was a really big moment for me to realize, actors, just like real people, are made of multitudes, right? They can do so many things. So to see him return to dramatic with this, it hit me in such a way that it kind of invigorated the sense of, I think this is something that I'm really interested in. So it just stuck with me and it resonated, and it still does. I can't watch the movie today without getting emotional. I get a little emotional talking about it. Another thing that really made this resonate for me is the beautiful score and the beautiful soundtrack. I actually have a hard copy. And then from that birthed an album by one of my favorite bands of all time, Circa Survive. They wrote the album Juturna largely as a concept album based around the story of this movie. And when you listen to the album and watch this movie, you can see the threads, the narrative threads and the emotional threads carry through. And it happens to be one of my favorite albums of all time. I loved the album before I even found out they were related. So there's kind of this big anastomosis of confluence of things that all came together at this perfect time in my life between the ages of 13 and 15 that really cemented to me, one, what I like about movies, two, my aesthetic for film, and three, a lot of my formative music taste as an adult. Not to mention, about a year or two after this, I actually began dating my now wife. So it was a movie that meant a lot to me then. We watched it together for the first time. And now even to this day, we will go here in Los Angeles when they do anniversary screenings. We'll go pay $60 to go watch it and see the Q&A with Michel Gondry. And we do that every single year. And we rewatch it at least once a year. And it never fails to hit me the same way. I think this is one of those movies that it might not be it for you, but it is for me. It definitely shaped who I am and how I interact with media. And I think for anybody out there that's a movie buff, sometimes it's fun to go out and really try to challenge yourself with how movies make you feel. Up until this point for me, when I saw this movie, I'd seen sad movies, right? But they're sad. That's all they are. I'd seen comedies and they're comedic. That's all they are. And I've seen sci-fi movies and sometimes they're a little funny or sometimes they're a little scary. But this is a movie that is very deeply science fiction. It's also really funny in a lot of moments. It's melancholy. It's hopeful. It's romantic. And at the heart of it, it really speaks to something that I think all of us as people inherently understand, is that our memories make up who we are. And sometimes it's better to have the painful memories than to lose that foundation that they create. The reason why I talk about this movie here at the start of the year and the start of this series is that it's all about new beginnings and rebirths, right? And at the beginning of the year, a lot of people think of it as a fresh start. They make their resolutions. They say, new year, new me. They see this as a time of reinvention and rejuvenation. And that's excellent. I love that for everybody. But I also want to remind you that we cannot move forward without remembering where we've been or who we are, even if sometimes that sucks. So I want to tell all the listeners out there, this is our movie buff takeaway of the week, is that I love the idea of the new year as a rebirth and a chance to restart. But we also can't move forward without remembering where we have been, and what memories and what traumas and what pains and what triumphs have made us who we are. So I think it's important that even if those things suck, we have to be clear about the things that made us and we have to embrace them. Only when we are honest with ourselves, with our intentions, with our goals, and with how hard we're willing to work to make who we are line up with who we want to be, can we really succeed. So that's my big takeaway. The other big takeaway is go watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I cannot stress enough how much I love this movie. Go listen to Juturna by Circa Survive. I know this episode probably wasn't as joke-filled or as banter-filled as most episodes, as you can tell, because I'm sitting here talking to myself. But now that it's recorded, you're out here listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. I want to say thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart to everybody out here that's listening. You could be anywhere in the world doing anything, but you're here with me, and I really appreciate it. Tune in next week when we do something. I don't know. Tune in and find out. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time. Stay buff.